former Goldman Sachs banker that explains why Wall Street gets Bitcoin wrong. Because most of the people that he has talked to in the past, they don't even understand what money truly is. They just know how to trade, right? But there is a good example of what money really is. And you look at fiat, gold, and Bitcoin, and why so many are starting to understand why Bitcoin is a better version of gold, a digital gold, and way better than fiat. Just look at some of these traits, right? If you look at some of the lower parts of this, it's not even comparable. I know my camera's cutting this off, but let me remove that. You can see, I mean, the lower parts of this is all low for fiat, right? But you look at the upper parts like verifiable, fungible, portable, durable, divisible, right? Basically, all going towards Bitcoin, with the exception of gold leading with durable, right? Because it is physical, obviously. But you look at established history, that's the low point for Bitcoin because it's only been around since 2009, so 13-year history. Nothing compared to like 5,000 plus years, probably more for gold and fiat. Fiat's also pretty low, but not as low as Bitcoin. But you look at things like censorship resistance, unforgivable costliness, openly programmable, decentralized, right? Obviously, Bitcoin takes those traits. So, is Bitcoin a better form of money? Yes. Yes. But still, many people do not believe, do not understand, or choose to turn a blind eye to Bitcoin. And those people will lose out. It's as simple as that. Right? So, good reminder of what money is and what Bitcoin is. And here's an interesting chart that basically shows once you have like a base established, at least from previous cycles, once you have that base established, we tend to see that big drop below it. That usually indicates a bottom. And then we recover back up to that base point, and then we recover upwards. We saw in 2014, 2015. We saw 2018, 2019, and we're starting to see that right now, right? So we're not quite back up to that base yet, and that base is around $30,000, right? So once we get to that base around $30,000, then we can build on there and continue upwards. But that's why I think that's an important mark, and we may be hovering there for a while, even when we get back to it. However, if you look at some of these previous times when we did break through that base, Bitcoin went on a crazy rally afterwards, right? So that is something we could also look forward to as we continue and trend higher. All right, what else is there? Well, obviously, because we are down, you look at people that are taking advantage. A lot of reports coming out measuring activity, measuring buying. Over 300,000 now owned by Bitcoin buyers who bought at recent lows. So what does this mean? A lot of people are still just buying. You know, they're starting to get it. They're looking at all the inflation stuff that's going on around the world, and they don't quite trust fiat or central banks. And look at all the things that's been happening with, you know, bank seizures, bank closures, withdrawals being stopped, right? Who wants to go through that? No one. So that's why they're also turning to Bitcoin. So this is no surprise there are so many that are buying right now, which is why the number of hodl Bitcoins is going up and up and up and up, right? Not at all-time high yet, but it is going up. The number of people depositing Bitcoin to be sold is getting dirt low because at this point, who wants to be selling Bitcoin? Almost everyone is buying Bitcoin, right? So these are great metrics. And also, just a friendly reminder, if you're questioning whether or not it's really worth holding Bitcoin, whether or not it's really worth holding Bitcoin, well, here's the return from last 10 years. 10 years. If you held gold, luckily, you're still up 7%. S&P 264%, Google 650%, Apple 800, Microsoft 1,000, Amazon 1,000. You get the picture. Tesla's not bad at all. 14,700. Nvidia 5,000. Right? But no asset is close to Bitcoin at 206,000. Okay, so that should be the clearest sign or the best reason why one should be holding Bitcoin for the long haul, for long term. Because who knows what the returns will be in the next 10 years. Maybe not at 206,000, but there's plenty of gains left. Just imagine when 8 billion people around the world truly embrace Bitcoin and blockchain and what's going to happen then. Right now, it's still so early. So, give you guys a gentle reminder of why you should be holding Bitcoin. Kraken CEO Jesse Powell says, hey, you got to be very bullish on Bitcoin. Why would you bet against Bitcoin? I agree. He said he picked some more up at 18,000. I did too. I don't know how many of you guys picked up while we were below 20,000. If you did, pat yourself on the back, right? So it's a good move. DCAing along the way, especially toward the bottom, is a good thing. But Jesse thinks, yeah, of course, good things are coming, and it's not just him. Morgan Creek CEO Mark Yusho also thinks that every investor needs to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin has outperformed everything. If you go back 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, 12 years, doesn't matter how far you go back other than 1 year. But Bitcoin has outperformed every asset out there. So why would you not have some Bitcoin in your portfolio, right? Well, that's obvious. It makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. What else is good is in Australia, if you're from Australia, well, there's going to be a spot Bitcoin ETF. Okay? So that is pretty good. And you'll have exposure to other crypto too, like Ethereum and others. So that's pretty positive. Overall, Bitcoin ETFs, what they do is basically bring more money into the space. Doesn't mean necessarily institutional investors, but even retail investors, the ones that just don't want to mess with wallets, don't want to mess with exchanges, right? They just want to buy with their brokerage. That's what these ETFs offer. It's a fund that allows people to get direct exposure to Bitcoin and crypto. And these funds must buy Bitcoin and crypto to be able to sell the shares to investors. So I think spot ETFs are definitely a plus. So now we got another one coming. Of course, we have a few in Canada. In the US, we're still waiting, right? Still has not come. But soon, maybe BlackRock is going to call Gary one of these days and say, hey, approve it now. And then Gary approves it. That could be coming right around the corner. Okay, also, if you're holding 10,000 Bitcoins, right? If you're holding 10,000 Bitcoins like I am, well, the number of holders keep increasing. I'm just kidding. No, but the number of holders are increasing. The ones that hold over 10,000 Bitcoins, that's a lot of Bitcoins. That's a lot of Bitcoins out there. And the number of Bitcoins that have not moved in over 10 years. Think about it. If you think you're a strong holder, think about holding for at least 10 years, right? That number just reached an all-time high. Look at how fast that went up, right? All-time high at 2.5 million. 2.5 million out of the entire supply has not moved in 10 years. You could say, well, maybe a lot of it is lost. Some of it is Satoshi's wallet. That's fine. But this is out of circulation, basically. Whether they're holding or it's lost or Satoshi's, doesn't matter. It means it's out of circulation. So if you look at how much there is, minus this, there's really not that much out there, right? And the anticipated number for lost Bitcoin is actually way higher than 2.5 million. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin and crypto for the first time and you don't know where to get started, head over to CryptosRus.com and click on the best exchange guide. Within, you'll find a list of exchanges that I recommend and some that I use on a daily basis. If you are outside the US, I highly recommend looking at Binance.com first. They are the biggest exchange out there, supported in almost every single country. They have a fantastic fiat on-ramp, off-ramp system. They offer the most trading pairs and the lowest fees in the industry. You could also download a mobile app onto your Android and Apple device very easily. If you are in the US, I recommend taking a look at the sister company of Binance, Binance.us, which offers all of these things and more. So if you want to learn more, head over to CryptosRus.com or utilize the links in the description of this video.